I'm here today with two incredible people to have a conversation around Awaken Africa. Great to talk to you today, Pastor Joel and Savannah Ramsey. And for everyone that doesn't know you, you guys were here on staff at Citipointe for about 11 years. You're part of the furniture. You started off in youth as the youth pastor. You started my youth camp, which has grown and taken leaps and bounds. You were creative, and you guys are both incredible ministers in your own right, doing itinerant ministry all around the world. And then God picks you up and plants you in South Africa in 2017. What a journey where you get a heart for the people, a love for the country, and start this incredible non-for-profit organisation called Awaken Africa. I want to hear a bit about that. Tell me the purpose, the vision, the story behind that move. That would be great.
Well, Africa was not on the cards at all. And then one day we were talking to a friend and they said, you should just come visit us in South Africa. And it was just like this passing comment, but it stuck with us. And the more we thought about South Africa, the more we thought, actually, I think this is where we're going to end up.
Yeah, right.
And so we did. We went to visit her and we didn't come back. And it was such a God thing because we didn't have connections there. We didn't know anyone. We landed there and we just allowed God to kind of let the place envelop us.
Incredible. And so it started off, and now you do ministry over there. What does Awaken Africa look like? It's a heart for the people, a love for the country. What does the ministry side of that look like as well?
Our vision is that we are committed to the salvation and reformation of Africa through the good gospel of Jesus Christ. And so we have a huge emphasis on winning the lost, preaching the gospel, but also bringing, uplifting communities, building people's lives. And so it's an incredible place.
Amazing. And so that sounds like a big, broad scope and a great vision, and one I'm so glad to be a part of as a part of Citipointe Church. But what's it look like on the day-to-day? What's it mean for an individual's life that's been affected by Awaken Africa? Do you have any stories, things that have gripped your heart, someone maybe that pops in your head who's a great example of what you guys do?
Yeah, I think what I love about our ministry is that it is every day. We're never off duty. It's not like meetings and then everyday evangelism. It's always, God is always doing something wherever we are. And a story that pops into my head is one night we were having dinner with a couple of friends and we got a phone call from the local restaurant. And, darkness takes a very different form and in some ways a more aggressive form over there. And they had this lady who had been severely oppressed and was causing quite a scene at the restaurant. So much so that they called the paramedics and they said, this was their words, this is not a medical issue, this is a spiritual issue.
Wow.
And so they called us and the boys went down there and they got to pray for her and she was just completely set free.
Amazing.
And then they got to share the gospel with the customers and with all the staff because they wanted to debrief everyone on what had just happened. And I love that. I love that when there is something that doesn't look like anything we've seen before, we're who they call. Christians are who they think of. Like, we need them. This is not a natural issue. This is a spiritual issue. So that's something that really sticks with me.
I can imagine it manifests itself in a completely different way over there than kind of in the Western world as well. So I can only imagine what you guys go through on the daily basis in individuals' lives. But if we take a bird's eye view then, if that's for one individual's life, what does this look like from 20,000 feet? What's the broad strokes of Awaken Africa? What's your reach? And what are some statistics around the churches that you gather and the people that you reach?
Yeah, if we pull back on our broad view of things, we do cover a lot of ground. We do a lot of work with on the grounds, kids and community work. We do a lot of evangelism meetings. We work with churches and leaders. We've seen, I think over the last 2.5 years, over 7,000 people give their lives to Jesus, which has been amazing.
Incredible.
Awesome.
We work with a group of churches up in Kenya, over 77 churches. We're on their spiritual oversight for those churches, and we work with their pastors in pastoral training.
Wow.
We run a school of missions. We actually bring missionaries over to South Africa in Kenya.
Right.
In fact, Citipointe Church actually last year donated a car to us, a four-wheel drive, a Land Cruiser, which allows us to carry around missionaries, allows us to take food packs into the communities. And so it's just been a really, that's a lot of what we do. It's quite broad. We reach the lost, but we also work with people on the ground, leaders, development, uplifting communities.
So extensive. Like there's so many different aspects to just ministry in that country. And as we move forward with Faith, Love, Hope this season, we as a church are definitely going to fund Awaken Africa again, because there is no greater cause that we could fund. Can you tell us a bit about where those funds are going to go? Where's that money headed towards?
Yeah, as we grow and as the ministry expands, the help that we as a church are going to put towards Awaken Africa is really going to this time focus in on supporting the livelihood of our on-the-ground missionaries there, helping us we're in the process of launching a kids program, helping look after kids who have either lost both parents or a single parent to AIDS, working in our community development areas, helping us with evangelistic campaigns to preach the gospel. So it's really going to help us take the ministry really to the next level in impact locally in South Africa, but also within different nations of Africa as well.
I love that, because as a church, and for myself and probably the people watching, we can't be there. We're not in Africa. We can't reach that part of the world. But Matthew 28 says, go therefore and make disciples of all the nations. So we can be a part of this. And I'm so glad we can contribute to this, can see Awaken Africa grow into what it's called to be in that original vision that God put on both your hearts. So we're so excited that Faith, Love, Hope can continue the good work in Africa, that we can see that whole nation won for Christ. That'll be amazing. So Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being obedient to the call of God that took you from your original designation of the US and put you in South Africa. Incredible. And we can't wait to see all God is going to do through Awaken Africa in the years to come.
Thanks, Chris.